Hi, this is Rainbow Harmony, here to help you find balance and peace to live a more colorful life. And welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing another rainbow talk. And the topic is how to heal your feminine energy. So many of you guys have been requesting more videos where I'm just talking without the cards, about life, about healing, about creating the life of your dreams, about being on a journey of trying to clear out any toxic energy from your life and just live in the moment, be at peace, that rainbow harmony, that balance and peace. So this is something that I personally have been working on the last 2 years, and my motherhood journey, becoming a first-time mom, is something that really awakened me to this. So I wanted to share this topic with you guys today. So grab the popcorn or some tea or a nice cup of coffee. Maybe you put this on while you're driving or listen to it more like a podcast. Maybe you're listening to it while you're doing chores. And I hope that you will learn something from this today. And I would love to hear what you think about it in the comments below. Definitely give your tips for how to heal your feminine energy in the comments below. So let's get into it, okay? We all have aspects of the feminine and the masculine within us. It doesn't matter if you're male or female or non-binary or anyone else on the spectrum of gender. Now, this talk today, I feel like anybody can benefit from it because our society, our patriarchal society, does tend to overvalue masculine traits, while the feminine energies are kind of squeezed out of us. A lot of people are ridiculed for the feminine energies. For instance, if you have a man who has more qualities that are more creative and more nurturing and more intuitive, those types of men tend to be bullied, shamed, emasculated. And same thing, if you're a woman in the workplace and you're just trying to be yourself, a lot of times it can be difficult to be taken seriously if you're not kind of overperforming those masculine traits. It's so difficult. We don't want to be pigeonholed into being any specific way that's not natural or comfortable to us. However, I believe that everyone can heal their feminine energy. I think we all at this time on the planet really need this right now. And I'm going to be discussing today some things that have helped me, okay? So, feminine energies, these are universal traits that everyone possesses. Our feminine energy is connected to the soul, creativity, nurturing, intuition, rest, softness, relaxation, okay? The masculine energy represents logic, action, structure, okay? We also have assertiveness in there. This is the go, go, go. This is the work hard. This is the hustle culture. This is go out and get it kind of energy. So the aim here is not necessarily to reject masculine energy, but we need to realize how it has gotten a little warped and toxic in our society, okay? Our society really does celebrate masculine traits, and our society is set up around the 24-hour hormonal cycle of a man. This energy where we're supposed to get up in the morning, get ready, get out the door, and get to your job super early in the morning and work, 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 go, 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 have a little break or lunch, and then go, 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 all the way till nighttime is not really helpful to those of us who are women or in female bodies, and those of us who maybe have hormones, female hormones, or who identify more with a feminine way of life. For women, our cycle is 28, 29, 30 days, and it revolves around the cycle of the moon. We have, a week where we're feeling on top of the world, we're feeling ourselves, we're confident, right? We're ovulating, and we've got 2 weeks pretty much out of the month where we can get stuff done. And then the other 2 weeks, we're PMSing, we're hitting our time of our cycle, the hormones shift, change, we go more within. As a woman or somebody who identifies with female, learning how to identify with the moon cycle or connect with your female cycle or hormonal cycle is something that can really help you attune to your life. You might realize, you know what, I might not be on every single day of the month. I might not be ready to wake up like a man and work like a man every single day, and that's okay. I don't have to set up my life like that. I can make changes. I can flow with my natural cycle or with the moon. So, we've got a patriarchal imbalance in our society where the feminine energy or women, the female spirit has been very oppressed. Back in the day, our societies actually used to be matriarchal. And I wonder what the world would be like if it was like that now, but here we are, patriarchal society, and, these values, systems, our workplaces, our schools, even our family structures are designed around this masculine energy, which is really very much a doing energy. So it's go, 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 do, create, produce, which is beautiful in a lot of ways, but it's not beautiful if that's all that we're embracing and we're not allowing our feminine energy to balance this. I always think of the intuition as the feminine energy and the logic as the male energy. Just like how you can't go out and just make all your decisions based off your intuition and just kind of live up in the sky, live up, never come back down to earth. You need your logic to help you make and follow through with decisions. So your intuition gives you a sense of direction or helps you connect with your desire or helps you connect with that sense of purpose, connection to this world. And then your logic, the masculine energy, is what helps you to ground your ideas, to be practical, to follow through, to take the step-by-step approach, to move forward, to bring your ideas into reality. So we really do need both of these sides. But what happens when all you do is just focus on the do, the go, go, go? Sometimes as we're manifesting things, as we're creating things in our life, there are times that we need to pull back and have a wait and see approach. There are times that we need to allow things around us to transform. There are times that we need to rest and replenish so that we don't get burned out or hurt or sick. There's times in the process where we need to retreat. And that's something that, like the masculine energy, if it's so unbalanced, you will feel guilty resting. You will feel guilty taking a break. It's smart to allow space, to allow time, to allow things to settle a little bit. The feminine energy really creates space for that. Schools, focus on linear learning and logic, often neglecting emotional intelligence and creative expression. I remember the school I went to growing up. It had choir, it had pottery class, it had a couple creative outlets, but most of the classes, are just very logic, very masculine oriented. You don't get to develop your emotional intelligence or your intuition very much. It's sad, Workplaces reward constant productivity. People are often expected to perform on a rigid, just masculine schedule that disregards the natural cycles of rest and renewal that are part of the feminine energy. I can't tell you the number of times that I got burnt out at all the jobs that I worked, to the point where I was just like, I have to create my own life and my own lifestyle that's going to work with me and my feminine energy and the way that I work, because, I was getting sick, I was broken down. Have any of you guys ever had a job before that just doesn't let you call off sick? Man, I remember working at this one place for years, and whenever I called off sick, it was really difficult because I was the only one that could do this job. I was holding half of that place together. So if I had a sick day, the whole place was going down. There were people calling and complaining, people showing up for classes, lessons with me, and I wasn't there, and just frustrated. No one else can cover for me, really. No one else can fill in for me. Having to force yourself to work when you're sick or you're not feeling well is just a different kind of hell, So many people go through that in our society, having to just treat yourself like a robot almost. And it's just not natural for so many of us. It's sad because qualities like empathy, compassion, rest, intuition, they're seen as almost like undervalued. They're seen as weaker. They're seen as not important. And I can't tell you the number of times I've had an issue in my life, or I've been struggling and I've gone to a woman, whether it's a tarot reader or a therapist or a friend, and just kind of spoke in my heart, told them what was going on, and allowed that person to sit with me and be able to reflect back to me in a kind, open, nurturing way. Just listen, create space for me to be able to make decisions or to get out of like a stuck place. That is so beautiful. You know, we have to allow spaces in our society where women can come and people who identify more feminine can come and connect and heal and be together, and not be told that your emotions don't matter, or that, you know, it's not important, or you just need to suck it up and just get over it. I see a lot of people who suppress the feminine side, who suppress the emotional side, and who their life ends up being chaotic because of it. Not having healthy connections with people, not able to see things through, not able to have a clear direction in life, not able to allow yourself to rest and relax, enjoy, have fun, be playful, be creative. It's really sad when you cut out just all the feminine energy from your life and only ride on the masculine. And that's how the masculine energy can actually become really toxic and distorted, you know, because on its own, with no feminine energy, the masculine energy becomes really tainted. It becomes very controlling, it becomes very possessive, it becomes very judgmental, it becomes like very angry, you know? So we need this feminine energy to temper the masculine inside of us. Now, I'll say on my own personal journey, I definitely was one of those people who just was like girl bossing. I think a lot of it had to do with how I grew up. I had to do a lot of things on my own. I started working when I was only 15 years old because I had to provide for myself at a really young age. And, you know, in school, same thing. Like, I got kind of competitive. I wanted to rise to the top. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to, you know, be appreciated and admired, and like be in these positions where I could be admired and appreciated. And I pushed myself very hard on my younger journey. And I think just being in school and in workplaces, I got that kind of brainwashing and that idea that I'm only valuable if I am productive. I'm only valuable if I'm existing this way. And every time that my body would kind of act out and say, hey, you need to take a step back. Hey, you need to rest. Hey, maybe this isn't the healthiest lifestyle for you, I would ignore it because I just thought maybe there's something wrong with me, that I can't keep up with everybody, that I can't, you know, be on this schedule and be on this cycle and be on this routine. And so for some of us, like me, I'm very sensitive, I'm very feminine. It's just like, it's hard to really be feminine and be yourself when all of society is just set up to work against you. Eventually it led to breakdowns, to crash outs, like everybody calls it these days, to, just being exhausted, health issues. I had to stop putting so much pressure on myself to perform. I had to stop putting so much pressure on myself to succeed. I had to learn how to know myself, know thyself, you know? What I really wanted to do, what I really appreciated, what really brought me rejuvenation and joy and happiness and peace. I had to allow myself to explore life a little bit. I had to quit those toxic jobs. I had to leave those toxic education environments. I had to leave the people behind who were trying to master me, who were trying to tell me how to live or how to be. Even toxic religion is very, very masculine, you know, telling women and telling the feminine that they have to submit or they have to be under a man, or that their qualities aren't acceptable, aren't allowed, you know, like female intuition, empathy, stuff like reading tarot cards and just supporting people, you know. So for me, I wonder if your story is similar to mine, because for me, it eventually just led to me crashing out and needing to restructure and reprioritize my life and just get things together and not try to force myself to be something that I'm not. So this suppression, once again, can lead to a disconnection from yourself, from your true identity, and it ultimately affects your mental, your emotional, and physical health. Just wow, you know? So let's understand the masculine energy versus the feminine energy a little bit more. So the masculine energy, once again, is very logical, very structured, very competitive, action-oriented, assertive, and it's very focused on achievement, okay? So as an example, in business, this could be the drive to really build and grow and expand. In relationships, it can look like taking charge, okay? The desire to be the leader. Now, I try not to be too traditional because I am very feminist, and I feel like you can have any different type of relationship or partnership, and I believe that relationships should be an equal partnership. However, I've known in my own relationship and relationships from just people I've witnessed that as a woman or as someone who identifies more feminine, if you try to be the one that takes control and tries to be in charge and tries to plan everything, tries to motivate everything, tries to come up with all the plans and the goals, and is kind of in charge of the whole relationship, essentially kind of like wearing the pants, it can be exhausting. It can make you ugly because you're so stressed out. You know, if you're in a traditional relationship with a man, it can kind of push your man into more of the feminine role, because if you are not taking on that role, it's just kind of how energy entangles and interplays. Someone's going to have to take on that role. So if you just take on the masculine role in that relationship, then your partner is going to take on the feminine, and then things get really switched around. They get really imbalanced. It leads to a lot of resentment. It leads to stagnancy. It creates a lot of blockages. So I'm not saying that you have to just completely do nothing, rest, let this man or this person that you're with be completely in control of everything and dominate you and take away your rights. No, you need to, you know, be your own person. And then once again, you know, feminism, and we've come so far, and, you know, equal partnership. But it's important to realize if you're pushing into that role too much and it's causing your partner to be more in the feminine. I have a lot of clients sometimes that come to me and they complain that their man isn't stepping up more, that their man isn't creating a good life for themselves, or not achieving goals, or they're not bringing in income, or they're not rising to occasion or planning dates and stuff. And sometimes as I work with people, we realize, well, it's because maybe you're not giving this person a chance to do that, because before they even have that opportunity, you're taking over, you're taking control, you're the one making all those decisions, you're the one who's trying to dictate everything. And so you have to learn to let go of control, you have to learn to surrender, you have to learn to give your partner space, you have to learn to focus on yourself and create what you love in your life. And hopefully that will, you know, inspire your partner to do the same thing. You know, I've seen this a lot in people's relationships where it can get toxic because the roles are all switched up, the dynamics confusing, who's leading, who's following, where's the partnership, where's the communication. You know, this is things I've worked on in my own relationship, and you know, I wonder if any of you guys can resonate with that. I look back on relationships in my life that have ended just like romantically, and I see how I was taking on more of a masculine role, and my masculine energy was very distorted, and then my feminine energy was like very absent, and how that created conflict. So yeah, it could get real messed up and it can affect your relationships. And there are benefits to the masculine energy. Balanced masculine energy helps to push forward, create structure, set goals. It leads to a lot of productivity and accomplishment without aggression or burnout. So there are benefits of masculine energy: productivity, confidence. Like if you need to work on your confidence, that's healing masculine energy. So let me know if you want a video on how to heal your masculine energy. Maybe I'll make that next. It can help with goal achievement, resilience, the ability to make decisions, set boundaries. But if the energy is overused and unbalanced, once again, it can lead to issues like rigidity, stress, burnout. So let's talk now about the feminine energy. That is what we are here for, okay? Feminine energy: intuitive, nurturing, emotional, collaborative, fluid, compassionate, creative, and receptive. Receptivity is a huge one. So in business, this could look like the ability to empathize with team members, being able to get people together, communication, bringing people in, opening up to new ideas. In relationships, this could be a nurturing, supportive, and present emotionally role. Emotional balance is a huge part of this as well. Learning how to navigate the highs and the lows of emotions, and learning how to just kind of float in the water and allow the waves to kind of do their thing instead of fighting against it, and creating more chaos in your life. Feminine energy can benefit us because it's creative. It brings connections into our life. It helps us to be more empathetic, and emotional intelligence is so important. Being able to understand others, being able to communicate with others, being able to have healthy and harmonious relationships with others. You could be the most high achieving person with like all this money coming in and super productive business person, but if your feminine energy isn't balanced and your emotional life is in shambles, then you're not going to get along well with other people in relationships, and it's going to backfire, and it's going to make your life very chaotic. So balancing the feminine energy is what allows us to be present in relationships, and it's what allows us to create harmonious relationships and to have a harmonious relationship with ourself and our body. The masculine energy can neglect the body sometimes and push the body really hard. And that's good when it comes to something like, physical fitness or trying to challenge yourself or achieve some physical goals, but it can be rough when you want your body to support you to do all the badass masculine things you want to do, If the feminine energy is out of balance, it can lead to issues like passivity, people pleasing, okay? And a difficulty asserting yourself. And that's how I knew that my feminine energy was out of balance, because I struggled with all of those things. So I've known for a long time that I needed to heal my feminine energy. I just didn't even know where to start, Just remember that everyone has both of these energies within you, regardless of gender. Every person embodies both the masculine and the feminine traits, and you don't need to obsess or hyperfixate on whether or not they are balanced. I think naturally our body seeks balance and homeostasis, and our emotions do as well. So if you just go throughout your life naturally, you're probably doing a little dance of balancing these energies. But if something in your life is falling apart and you're feeling burned out and exhausted and you're breaking down and there's just fires going off everywhere, metaphorically, in your life, that could be a sign that you need to balance some of this out. All of us have had to develop these masculine traits in order to perform in this society. Even men have had to kind of masculinize themselves. You might have thrived for a while like this and seen results, and I certainly did. Like along my earlier journey, I thrived, and I've been thriving this whole time, but I really did thrive for a while pushing my masculine energy forward. I had a lot of accomplishments. I ticked a lot of things off my bucket list. I had a lot of things come through for me, a lot of projects I saw through to completion. And I think that's such a beautiful thing about masculine energy, and we do not want to reject it. But if you overuse it, over time, you just get exhausted and burned out. You know, it will take a toll on your health. It will take a toll on your relationships. It will take a toll on your daily life. It will take a toll on everything if this is out of balance. You have to learn when it's time to shift to the feminine energy. You have to learn when it's time to heal this. So here are some signs. Here are some signs that like you're burned out, you're done, your feminine energy is out of whack, okay? The first one is chronic fatigue and exhaustion. Oh Lord, y'all, I've got all these signs. When we're super focused on outward achievements and we're pushing too hard and we're neglecting our body, it will lead to chronic fatigue. Your adrenals will be taxed. Like you can't be functioning so go, high energy, cortisol vibes all the time. It will push you out of whack. You can also get digestive issues or hormonal imbalance. That is a huge sign that your feminine energy needs some attention. A stressed out body that's constantly on go mode is going to lead to digestive issues and disruptions in your hormonal cycles. The next one is insomnia or sleep issues. And I want to say that some of these symptoms and signs can also be symptoms or signs of some other type of health condition or maybe some other type of mental health condition. So it is important to talk to a doctor or a licensed therapist if you feel like you have some of these signs and you're unsure. Always trust your licensed medical professionals. This is just my little internet speech based off my own experience and my own life. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, you can get insomnia or sleep issues because your mind is very hyperactive and driven and productive, and you're so focused on work and achieving that you're not allowed to just be a body and just rest and relax. The next thing, anxiety or depression. You know, if you have a lack of connection in your life, a lack of nurturing relationships, you're not able to like empathize with yourself and others, you're just feeling kind of trapped in a box, you're a robot, you're just like in the system, in the matrix, hardcore, the masculine energy is all crazy and the feminine's out of balance, then yeah, you know, you're going to get anxiety, you're going to get depression because you don't have any way to really comfort yourself or self-soothe or connect with others or ability to feel peace. There's just so much chaos. You can also feel super disconnected from yourself. If you do not honor your emotional or your creative side, this can lead to a huge feeling of disconnection from yourself and feeling like you're just going through the motions of life. And that's actually part of why I came back on this channel, because I mean, I have other creative outlets, but I realized just how big of a hole or a void it was leaving in me, feeling like I didn't have this outlet to like speak and express myself, which is just so important to me that I have an outlet for my chatter. So, you know, if you haven't been spending time with your creative skills, or you just fallen into a rut and you're focused more on the productivity masculine energy, then you're going to feel very confused and disconnected. For me, even just a couple weeks coming back to this creative routine of mine has just brought so much light and joy and happiness into my life. So, you know, something that you can do routinely that's creative and expressing yourself, sharing your gifts, so good for you. But if that's blocked and you don't feel like you can do that, you get very disconnected from yourself. People pleasing or overgiving is a huge sign that your feminine energy is out of balance, because you are putting other people's needs before your own. Some of us were raised like this, to really overgive, to really be the people pleaser. And I think if you're a woman especially, we are kind of pushed into this role because the feminine energy is very nurturing and very giving, but it's also receptive. So your ability to receive compliments, receive help, receive gifts from other people, to be able to receive manifestations, things that you want, happiness in your life, not pushing things away, not saying I don't deserve, I'm not worthy, or kind of trying to be too humble, not allowing yourself to be beautiful, not allowing yourself to shine, not allowing yourself to be seen. These are things that are a huge sign of being out of balance, okay? Codependent tendencies also can be a sign of this as well. Lack of boundaries. If you're not caring for yourself, it can be difficult to say no or to protect yourself, protect your heart. You know, we don't want to completely close up our hearts, but if we're, you know, just completely open, allowing ourselves to be a doormat, being trampled on, taken advantage of, that's a sign that our feminine energy is out of balance. The last sign I'm going to mention today is the suppression of your intuition and creativity. If you're not really able to tap in and know like just what feels right for you in a situation, or you don't really know what you want, or you're unable to access your intuitive insights and you just don't really feel creative and all you want to do really is just kind of perform and consume, that is a sign that the feminine energy is out of balance. So I know a lot of that sounds very dark, but let's talk now about how we can actually heal this, okay? And it's a journey. I have been on this journey now for 2 years, I think, or more. Getting pregnant is what really forced me to slow down, to honor my body, to be present, to realize I'm gonna have to rest a lot more. I can't just go. It's part of why I left the channel for a few years, because I wanted to focus on healing this side of myself, and I'm still not there yet, but I'm working on it, and that's okay. I'm a work in progress. So the first thing you wanna do is start with awareness. Maybe you heard all of these signs. Maybe you've been listening to this and you're just like, crap, my feminine energy is so out of balance. That's okay. It's normal, okay? This is kind of what society does to us. You want to begin by tuning into how you feel physically and emotionally. Notice these patterns where you feel out of balance. Self-awareness really is the first step to this transformation. Just knowing, okay, I'm a little out of whack here. Next, you want to nurture your emotional health. So the first thing I would do is get a journal and just start getting in touch with yourself. Just start writing down your feelings with no judgment, no remorse, no guilt, no shame. You might realize that you have a lot of anger that's been suppressed, or a lot of sadness that's been suppressed, or a lot of grief that's been suppressed, because expressing these feelings and letting them out is something that's very discouraged in our society. The funny thing is, these emotions can sometimes make us feel very out of control, like heavy emotions, if we weren't raised or we didn't learn how to handle them in a proper, healthy way. So they can kind of bottle up and they can lash out onto other people or lash out onto yourself or become destructive in your life or destructive habits. So just having an outlet where you, with yourself, no one else, can just write down your feelings or just let yourself cry, feel it, be in it. You know, if you just allow that emotion to flow through you, it will pass. It will pass. It just needs to be expressed. I say emotions are energy in motion. It is an energy, and sometimes these emotional states get kind of frozen or trapped or locked in our body, or we just hold on to it and we live and operate out of that because we haven't learned how to express it or let it go. Okay? So the next thing you want to do is rest and replenish. If that's all you do, rest and replenish, that's the only action step you take to heal your feminine energy, I think you're going to be really, really surprised, because even just that right there can heal you and can change you so much. I spent so much time the last few years just resting and healing, even though I felt like I was slacking off or that I could have been doing more, especially as a mother with a baby. My body literally needed to recover. You know, my mind, my whole spirit needed to recover from all of that and just everything else I've been through in my life. You know, we need that rest. We need that relaxation. And a lot of times when we rest, we're resting in front of a TV. We're resting in front of a computer. We're resting in front of our phone. We're scrolling. We're watching other like shows with chaos, gossip, drama on it. we're reading tea, you know, in forums, we're doing true crime or celebrity drama or whatever, you know, things that are way too much for our nervous system. Sometimes you have to go on a detox, and I've done this before in my life where I literally cut out all TV, I cut out all music except for just like crystal bowls and healing stuff, cut out all toxic activities, all toxic friendships, and just focused on being in the moment, relaxing, being present, reading, painting, creating, traveling, being in nature. It's very extreme to do like a detox like that, but I would suggest maybe trying just like one day. Like this Saturday, I'm gonna just have a digital detox day and I'm gonna relax and just do me. Sometimes your energy is out of whack just because you've been absorbing way too much toxic stuff. And I mean, let's not even talk about what's been going on in the news this year. Gosh, the last few months of 2025 have been so, I mean, every day it's something crazy in the news. And I've known so many people that have just been having breakdowns, who've gotten anxiety, who got a depression, who just freaked out because it's just too much. We're not supposed to have this much access to all this information. We're not meant to carry the emotional drama of the whole world. It's too much. So, you know, that whole French president thing was way too much for me, you guys. That was so much. So, you know, when it's just getting too much and you need to disconnect. Okay, so rest, replenish. Of course, we're going to talk about yoga, breath work, nature walks. I'm actually going to go on a nature walk right after I give this chat. I'm so excited. I know that that's going to help me, and you have to put yourself on a routine. That's the thing, is if you're struggling and your masculine energy is really strong, you can be productive with your feminine energy. You can, you know, use some of those strengths to help you put yourself on a routine and stick to it so that you can really honor your feminine side. Sometimes in the beginning, that's what it has to be, because it feels like such simple little things, but that's why it's so easy to forget to do. Sometimes it's easier to focus on the masculine qualities because it's very goal-oriented, it's very structured, and we've been kind of raised to think and be like that. And giving time to the feminine side can feel like it's not worth it, or it's just this little dumb thing, or like I took a nap so I'm fine, but it takes a lot of time, you know. You need to allow yourself to learn how to rest without guilt. And I think after 2 years of me just really focusing on rest, I'm finally at a point where I can just rest. I can just take a day off. I can just be. I can be like, well, I'm not going to pressure myself so hard. I'm happy and I'm enjoying my life. I don't need to push for some huge achievement right now. I don't really need to be seen or perceived right now. That was a huge thing for me, going offline for 2 years. It really helped me because I didn't need to prove anything to anybody. I could just live and be myself. And, you know, sometimes, you know, once again, digital detox, take yourself offline, that can help. The next thing that can help you heal your feminine energy is reconnecting with your creativity and your intuition. Engage in activities that allow you to play and let your inner child out. Go back to childhood and try to do some of the things you used to do. Like when I was little, I really loved drawing pictures of horses. I really liked painting. I really liked like stenciling stuff. I was like busy with my hands a lot. I used to like beading. So those are some things I added back into my life. Just time to doodle, time to draw, time to paint, time to bead, work with my hands, listen to music, whatever. Just be in the moment, enjoy, relax. You know, writing, drawing, painting. I love singing. I've always loved singing, and just putting on like one of my favorite albums and singing along to it and just letting myself just be, you know, is so nice, you know. So set a time aside to meditate, reflect, listen to your inner voice, connect with your intuition. Next, embrace the cycles and seasons. A lot of people are hitting me up in the winter and just freaking out because nothing's moving forward. They feel a little bit depressed. Maybe the finances are kind of low. The opportunities aren't rolling in. They're sick. They just feel like everything's falling apart. And I have to be the one to remind them, like, you are not separate from these cycles and seasons. You are in tune with nature. The trees also die and conserve their energy in the winter. There's a lot going on underneath the roots, so I tell people in winter, study, learn, make plans, think, like rest, replenish, like get in the flow of nature. Honor the natural cycles and seasons of nature. Spend time in nature. See what's blooming, what's popping off out there. What's the vibe going on? That vibe is going to be carried in your own life. We have these relationships with, all these plants. Like, these plants are literally giving me breath. They're literally giving me good energies, healing, things that I probably don't even understand. It's incredible. Connect with nature, allow it to heal you, embrace the cycles and seasons in your life. Learn, if you're a woman and you have a period, learn about your feminine cycle and the moon. If you are someone who identifies as female, you don't have a cycle, still learn about the cycles of the moon and the phases of the moon. Connect with that. Own that. That's you. That's part of you. There's going to be times in your life for action, and there's going to be times for rest. You have to honor your body's need for both. The people who just rest, and are just like very depressed, and that's all they do, they're not achieving much in life. The people who are just go, they never rest, maybe they achieve stuff, but they get hurt. There's got to be something in the middle. And by the way, if you're going through depression and you're struggling with that, just know that depressed simply means deep rest. Don't be afraid to reach out and to get professional help and support. Allow your body to rest and heal. Sometimes if you just ride it out, it will eventually come to an end. Sometimes your body just really wants to feel like it's being listened to, That's a whole other topic. You can watch my video on how to romanticize your life when you're depressed. I made one about that. The next is set boundaries and redesign your life. Yes, boundaries are more assertive and kind of a masculine energy, but you need them in order to be in your feminine, and in order to give yourself this time to rest and stop overgiving and people pulling at your energy and just using you and whatever, and you being that doormat. You need to create these boundaries. You need to figure out who or what it is in your life that's just siphoning all your energy and forcing you to perform. You need to say no to things that drain you and say yes to activities that nurture your feminine side. And sometimes on the quest for healing your feminine energy, you'll literally have to quit a job or leave a relationship or restructure something big in your life or make major changes. Don't be afraid to do that. Spend your time journaling, think about it, and do what you need to do. Cut out of your life what you need to cut out of your life, okay? I could talk about this forever, but I'm gonna wrap up here and just remind you guys that this journey of balancing your masculine and your feminine energy is something that is ongoing. It will be a process in your life forever. Once you're self-aware of it, you can kind of notice when you're functioning more in one state or the other. And it can be fun because you can see how these sides of yourself or these energies can help you forward. Once again, your intuition is so that you can tap into your desires and feel what's right for you and know what you want. The logic, the masculine, helps you to shape and mold and create and direct that energy. I think of the feminine energy like the bow, and I think of the masculine energy like the arrow. The bow, it's more of the vessel, and then the arrow is you're releasing it where you want it to go. You can't have one without the other. They both work together in harmony to hit your target, hit your mark, make sure that you get what you want, that you're creating the life that you love. It can be really scary when you've been functioning more in the masculine for so long, and then you start trying to heal the feminine. Like the first time you try to just rest without guilt, or give yourself a little vacation, or you decide to just quit the job and move on to something else and that's more feminine, more healing, more nurturing for you. It can start feeling really scary because it's like, I don't know how to be like this. This feels wrong. You think that you're going to get this blame, this judgment, this shame. And I think you have to realize that your whole life, teachers, bosses, friends, parents, whatever, do, like, if we kind of police each other. And if sometimes you see somebody who's really in that feminine energy And I think secretly we can get jealous, or we see the otherness of them. We are realizing they're not kind of going along with it. They're not like acting like other people. It's not fair. Like sometimes basically you can get attacked for being super feminine or being in your feminine energy. So it does take courage. It does take bravery. Sometimes the hardest thing that you can do is learn how to rest, learn how to surrender, learn how to be receptive, learn how to stop pushing things forward, learn how to stop trying to control things, learn to stop trying to master other people around you. You know, master yourself, nurture yourself, give to yourself. Sometimes we get this message that it's selfish, that we all need to be humble and just helping each other so much until we fall apart. No, that's not good, you know? It's important to trust the process. This healing takes time. Give yourself permission to live in a way that is more peaceful, that is more fulfilling, that is more natural. You might realize that what makes you happy in life and what constitutes a good day for you and what kind of achievements you actually enjoy making are very different than what society has told you and tried to impose upon you. Live a life that you feel inspired by, that you feel is creative, that you feel nurtures your soul, allows you to rest and heal, allows you to have those mountaintop moments of achievement, but also lets you just relax and frolic down in the valley, you know? It's about what it means to you. It's about creating the life that you love, that feels good to you. It's not about how it looks to anyone else. People could look and see you healing your feminine energy, and maybe they think that you're being lazy, that you've given up, that you slacked off, that you're not going to achieve anything, that you're being weak or whatever, you know. There's a lot of judgment on that feminine energy, but it doesn't matter. You're going to find other people who are on this journey also, who want to rest and relax with you, who want to be in the feminine, who want to nurture, who want to give and receive in equal measure, who want to relax, who wants to let go of chaos and drama and gossip, who wants to just be present. You're going to attract people like that. You're going to draw more energy like that into your life as you work on healing and balancing this side of yourself. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you'd like a talk on the masculine energy, you can also let me know. I think I'll probably make that one next. We'll have to see what's coming up on the agenda. And any other topics you want to see me talk about in this Rainbow Talk series, I'm a complete open book. Like, I'm so open to discussing whatever you guys want to know about, whatever you think is interesting. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.